It is time for us to start the Halloween festivities. And so we figured to kick things off, we're going to do the same thing we did a couple years ago, and we're going to come back at you with 15 additional horror movie recommendations. Okay, so this next movie is actually very special to the two of us because we actually watched this on our first date. She actually trusted me enough to go back to my place, and we popped in a movie, and that movie is the 2001 vastly underrated Frailty.
Oh, shit.
That's a good movie.
That's a good fucking movie.
You know what? A lot of people don't like the ending. Movie. I love the ending.
I love it.
We're not going to tell you what it is.
I'm not going to... The only thing I'm going to say about the plot is that it takes place in 79, and it is about a killer called the God's Hand Killer, and essentially it's about a family and how they're connected to said killers and whatnot. But it stars Matthew McConaughey, the late great Bill Paxton. What the fuck is that other actor's name? Texan dude. Oh God. Booth.
Yeah.
Oh, Booth
Powers. Booth.
Yeah,
Powers Booth. Thank you.
I said Booth Powers.
Booth Powers. Yes.
I just
but
think it's
just
such an interesting, unique concept.
It is, and the whole thing is, it's just the
especially for its time.
And it's such a surprise. It's such a well-made movie, and it was directed also by Bill Paxton, which a lot of people may not realize. I remember seeing it in the theater, being very surprised by it. It has definitely got a very good creep factor on there. Don't expect a lot of gore in it. A lot of it is going to be very psychological. I wouldn't say Hitchcockian. A little bit.
A little bit Hitchcockian.
Hitchcockian.
I get a little Hitchcockian.
But overall, I mean, if it's something you haven't seen, definitely look for it. I think right now it's streaming on Amazon Prime, if you've got Amazon Prime. Or you could probably find it in the bins at Walmart or something like that. But definitely something not to sleep on. Great performances across the board. This is something that it's going to get under your skin a little bit. It's not really going to bring the gore, but it's going to bring the psychological horror and whatnot. And it's just something that a movie that I think is slept on, and I think that it doesn't get a lot of kudos, and that's why I also included it. And again, of course, because of the factor here, very special to us. It's the first movie we watched together.
My next movie is Creep. I love Creep. It was such a great movie. It's a found footage film. I know there's a million found footage films. They're like a fucking dime a dozen.
This was well done.
Trust me when I tell you,
well done.
This one is different. It's not your typical found footage film. I'll just give you like a basic thing. It's about a guy who goes up to the mountains to film for somebody. They have cancer. They have a kid. Just trying to film their last days of their life. But that's not what it turns out to be. So that's all I'll tell you. But it's a fantastic film. It's one of the best found footage films that I've ever seen.
It's so
not a lot of gore.
Yep.
There's no gore really. It's all psychological, like Josh was saying about his last film. It's all psychological.
It's a movie that depends on the acting capabilities of basically one and or two guys.
I think it was pretty much two actors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Two.
And
there's
it's
two.
So I know, but one of them is like like making the movie. And it's just somehow a completely not fun yet totally fun movie.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what it is.
And I think the director is also the star. It's like Mark Duplass, I think is how you pronounce his name.
And
who you might know from
film.
Yeah, well, he's in both of them, but he's also the director of both of them. I think he's the writer-director, but you might know him from The League.
Oh, him, but I'm the actual director of the film was the guy holding the camcorder.
Oh, okay.
That was the director. Mark wrote.
Okay.
And
he wrote it, produced it.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is it my turn?
Yeah, it is your turn.
My next movie is the third and final Stephen King. And this is a little sequel that came out last year. And this was a movie that was a sequel that Stephen King wrote from The Shining because he didn't feel like he was done with Danny. And Stephen King is notoriously on record as not liking the Stanley Kubrick Shining movie. But he does endorse Dr. Sleep. That's the movie. I just think it's super fun. I love that it's set in the same universe, set in the same world. You see some of the same characters, mostly Danny, and I love kind of seeing what that experience did to him. Like, not just supernaturally, but like as a man, like what it did to him, how it changed his life, you know, how Jack Torrance affected his life, and just how they expand the supernatural world in it. The effects are great, the acting is amazing. Ewan McGregor's in it, obviously he's gorgeous and amazing. I don't know the little girl's name who plays Abra, but she's so good. She
did a great performance, and you know,
Ferguson.
Yep.
Yeah, Rebecca Ferguson is Rosie the Hat, the main villain.
Yeah, she's great. She's amazing.
In the longest time, I have not seen a movie like this to where you despise the antagonist as much as you do. Like you literally, it's not a matter of like, it's like, oh, I hate these guys, but they're so cool.
And they're like, and you know,
they're not likable.
You can sympathize with them.
No,
you know?
There's no sympathizing.
No, there's no sympathize.
Yeah.
You hate these assholes. I've watched that movie like 10 times already, and it's long.
What was the director on that? Mike Flanagan. There we go.
Flanagan.
Yeah, Mike Flanagan was the director of this, and he also, again, he did Gerald's Game. He did Haunting of Hill House. I think he did Lights Out as well. But I think he's also talking about he wants to get his hands on Dark Tower. He wants to redo Dark Tower.
Oh god, Dark Tower movie was so shitty. Arguably, even though King hates it, if you ask amongst horror fans, The Shining is probably the most beloved Stephen King movie, other than Shawshank. Shawshank is a near perfect movie, let's be honest. But, you know, everybody loves The Shining, and I feel like this had like a lot of expectations because of that. You know, there was a miniseries of The Shining that I actually liked a lot. With Steven Weber and Rebecca De Mornay. That one was more accurate to the book, yet people like the Kubrick better. But I felt like this was a good amalgam of, you know...
It was a great balance. It definitely gave the fan service without it being too fan servicey. I felt like it did a great service to both the Kubrick film, and even though I mean I'm kind of being hypocritical by saying this because I haven't read either one of them, but I feel like because of the fact that Stephen King loved Dr. Sleep so much, he endorsed it, that he was able to get that nice... you know, the nice balance between movie and the source material.
I love The Shining. I'm not going to say I don't love the movie. I love all versions of it, both the movie, the miniseries, Dr. Sleep, all of it, but definitely check out Dr. Sleep if you haven't watched it. I think you will like it a lot.
My next movie is also from last year, 2019, and that is Haunt. This is actually a good Halloween movie. It takes place on Halloween, which is great. And it's about a group of friends. They're leaving a lame party, which, truth be told, it does look like the lamest fucking party, but I don't like places where you're just like lights are flashing and you just hear, you know,
He's white.
Screw that. And so they come upon this haunt in the middle of nowhere. It's one of those ones where you have to sign the waiver and shit like that.
I totally do that.
I'm not going to go any further into the plot because shit hits the fan and it's glorious. The gore is great. The acting's great.
Oh, that movie is so fucking fantastic.
It's fantastic. There's a lot of these kind of movies coming out where people get attacked at like haunts and stuff like that.
This is the way to do it,
because it's relevant. Because you go to a haunt and you think, wow, what if this is real? Not only is the movie amazing, but it kind of makes going to haunt scarier. You know what I'm saying?
Because there was a lot of movies like that came out the last year or the year before.
Like the House October Built.
Hell Night, House is October Built.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was like 2014, I think.
That was a good movie, though.
That was a great movie.
I think about that stuff like every time I go to a haunt. And what's her face? The lead star, the one from The Bold Type, she plays Tiny Jim. I love her. She's gorgeous. It's a great movie. And I love any movie set on Halloween.
I do like the fact that the antagonists are all wearing vintage like Halloween masks and whatnot, and so, and again, the gore is great, and just the scares are nice, and the atmosphere and whatnot. But it definitely does make you think twice before you go into any of these. You know, well, this one here is like a middle of nowhere thing. It's not a huge one, but they do have other movies that deal with the larger haunts and you know. Possibility of shit going wrong, but definitely recommend it, especially
watch it. It's on Shudder if you have it. And if
it is on Shudder.
And if you like horror and you don't have Shudder, what the fuck is wrong with you?
We are not sponsored by
Get
Shudder.
It together.
We're
oh my god!
I wish we were sponsored by Shudder. That'd be nice.
What is it, like $5? What is it, like $80 a year?
7.
You know, it's like $60 a year.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey Shudder, give us a coupon code.
In cash. Yeah.
All right. So. My next movie is Dog Soldiers. I love that movie. I love werewolves. As a kid, I loved werewolf
I do love werewolves.
type movies. This one, I think it's one of the better ones. The CGI was great. The practical effects were great. And it's also, like, it's a great movie to military. So if you like movies like Full Metal Jacket and all these other military movies, plus werewolves, you're in for a treat. It's a great movie. Fantastic.
I don't love this movie as much as you do. I liked it. I don't love it as much, but it is very fun.
Yeah,
in a serious way, for some reason. What do you think? You don't remember it?
Yeah, I'm kind of teetering on half and half. I don't dislike it, but I don't love it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Also, it was very gory.
I mean, it's the same director who did The Descent, which was in your class.
Oh, The Descent.
I love The
is
Descent
scary.
too. It was great. Yeah, fantastic.
Perfect.
I just love the effects. Like the werewolves look like you would see werewolves in your
I was
brain.
gonna say they're bipedal instead of.
Yeah, they're not CGI. They're fucking.
Yeah, the practical
guys in
effects on
suits.
this were definitely very well done.
Yeah.
Hit us with your last one.
We're going back to, so for my last one, another 2019, and there's so many 2019s we're not even talking about, like Midsummer, Us. I don't know, 2019 was actually a really good year for horror. I think TJ's going to come up with the 2019 for his last pick too, right?
I am too.
I am.
Yeah. And this is a movie that is very important to my entire childhood, and that would be Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I feel like I've been waiting for this movie to be coming out my whole life. But it's Guillermo del Toro produced, not directed, right?
Yes.
The ghosts or beasties or whatever they are scary. It's weird because it is a kind of a kids movie. You could show this to your kids, but they're gonna be scared as shit.
It's PG-13.
It's PG-13, but it is scary, and that's how it felt when you read the book as a child. So I'm sure you all read it when you were, anybody around my age or maybe even a little younger read this as a child, and it was really scary. The little girl who plays Stella is really good. It's well acted. It's just the feel of it. It's visually stunning. The story is really, really well put together. It's kind of an anthology, but kind of like Trick or Treat, where it's mingling stories, so not like separate stories with a wraparound. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and I really like that when they intertwine. It's just an amazing watch. Once again, a very rewatchable movie. Like Dr. Sleep, I've probably watched this movie 10 times, and it only came out last year.
It's true.
I love it. If you've got kids that are a little bit older, maybe like 13, 11, that want to get into horror, this is a really good pick. You're next, bro.
Go, motherfucker.
Oh, Jesus. All right, so my final pick is also from 2019, and actually Banshee and I, we had to flip a coin between this selection and Dr. Sleep. She got Dr. Sleep, I get this movie. And again, I'm going back to something, and this feels like, Jesus Christ, Mackie. Here, fucking give me one of those.
Is it not? I don't know. Hey.
Yes.
No, I'm not giving one to TJ.
No, please don't.
He's kind of
I'm already 90s to the wind.
So again, this movie definitely feels like a Tales from the Crypt episode.
Yeah, it totally does.
It was definitely a very big surprise. Our first encounter of it was actually during Midsummer Scream last year.
Survivor Girl, right here.
I only lost a limb. There was a maze for it, and it is a little film called Ready or Not. Essentially, what it is, it's about Samara Weaving, who's delightful as
Gorgeous.
always. She's fucking hot.
I'm into her.
And she gets married into this very rich family. She has to play a game to get indoctrinated into the family. That game is hide and seek. Wackiness ensues. And again, this is one of those things where I'm not going to tell you anything else about the plot because...
so good. I'm just going to tell you that, oh God, it's just so fun. This is probably the funnest movie I have seen in years.
It was definitely a huge surprise.
Yeah.
A huge surprise when we went to... We went to the theater because we went in the maze
and
we're like,
we gotta go
let's
see
just
this.
go check this movie out. And we left just beyond
we were like, oh my God, I
surprised.
can't believe how good it was.
Yeah,
it
had no
so
business being as
amazing.
good as it was.
Yeah, and everybody who's...
Samara Weaving's such a great actor.
Oh, she's
She's
so
actress.
good. She's
Sorry,
beautiful.
actress. She's fucking
actress.
Oh,
I don't know
gosh.
doing tits, but
fucking fantastic.
Everybody who watches this movie goes in being like, I have no desire to see this movie, and then they leave the movie being like, holy shit, that was amazing! Like, every single person I know who has seen that movie feels like that.
But yeah, and just the gore is top notch on this as well. Lots of gore, lots of laughs, lots of...
Gore. It's
Not really a lot of
fucking
scares. There's some jump scares and whatnot, but again, it's like Tales from the Crypt. It felt like a Tales from the Crypt episode. It could have easily been Tales from the Crypt presents Ready or Not. It could have been.
Yeah.
But in either case, don't let that dissuade you. It's on streaming right now. I think it's on HBO streaming. But
Watch it.
go check it out. All right, TJ, bring us home.
All right, so
Jinx.
my last movie is The Wretched.
Oh, it's so
Also from 2019.
Holy fucking balls!
It's
was this movie
scary
good.
as ass.
It was good.
It's
it
so
was so
fun.
good.
It's a lot of people don't like it.
So here's this.
because a lot of
this
people are
movie checks
assholes.
off all boxes. If you like witches, boom. If you like ghost movies, boom. If you like fucking just horror in general, boom, motherfucker. Listen,
I feel like
this movie
scary.
had everything.
Mm-hmm.
Good gore.
Every fucking thing.
Even a twist.
So it had twists. Yes, it had.
What a twist.
It had a few twists. This movie was about a mom and her child going out. They were driving out to live into a new house. They were getting away from all the whatever from the city.
No.
No, I don't know. I'm drunk.
It's about
Holy
a kid
fuck.
who comes to stay. His parents get divorced and he comes to stay with his dad.
Yes.
He comes to stay with his dad, and then weird shit starts going on with his neighbors. We don't want to ruin it after that. It's like a weird woodsy kind of demon witchy kind of thing. It's very scary. There's children involved. Anything about children is very scary.
Yeah.
It's well acted again. It's just interesting and scary. It is scary.
It was fucked up.
Yeah, the
That's
atmosphere is
pretty
very
fucked
dark
up.
in this one.
Yeah, very dark. I don't know. I liked it. It's kind of got that whole Antlers thing, which Antlers I haven't seen yet. Has that come out?
Yet.
I don't think it's
hasn't
come out.
Come out yet.
No.
Where I don't know, anything that's kind of like that whole like woodsy kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like a scary trend thing that's going on lately that I really like.
Right, but the movie does have to do with kids.
Yeah, I think you should
And the
definitely watch
kidnapping
it.
of kids.
I also think, there's like one or two like a little bit of sexy kind of things going on, but for the most part, I think it's PG-13, right? Or is it R?
No, it's R.
No, it's
Oh,
R.
it
It's
is?
a hard R.
Are there
Yeah.
No,
titties
it's
in
a
it?
hard
No,
R.
it's got boobies. It's
There's
a hard R.
titties?
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, there's boobs.
Oh, yeah, there's
the
titties.
neighbor mom is kind of hot.
Yeah.
But
And
there's no titties
cursing.
in the skinny
There's
tipping,
the
is there?
fuck.
Yeah, there's
fuck.
a lot of fucks.
Yeah.
Well,
fucks.
it's just scary. So don't show it to your kids. Unless you got like 16-year-olds, then show it to them.
I like how I'm so drunk that everyone else is taking over for me.
Because you tried to say it was about
Oh,
a mom
God.
moving into
I
a new
drank
house
before I came here
with
and
her
I-
son, and that didn't
It's so
happen.
bad.
That didn't happen at all. But it's not that he didn't watch it. Clearly, he watched it.
I
and
watched
liked
it.
He's just
I
fucked
liked
up.
it. I'm a little 9 cheeks to the wind. I'm
exactly.
sorry.
It's all right. That he
You
had
know
a
what?
good night.
It wouldn't be the return of TJ Laser unless you were 9 sheets to the wind.
It's true.
It wouldn't be.
So what are your little sleeper horror picks? Put them in the comments. We want to know if you guys have any recommendations for us, particular things that are not mainstream, because we watch it basically everything. Definitely put those in the comments. We want to hear that shit.
Yep, and then stay tuned, of course, because it is the beginning of October, which means Halloween time.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, do all that stuff. All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later on in the month. Happy Halloween, and let's get this started.
Silver Shamrock.